Be Good to Your Brother. This is episode number 3. Gabe, how you doing?
I am tired, worn out, exhausted, all those adjectives and synonyms, and
I understand.
open up a thesaurus and get all that.
I already told you, but I'll throw it out there just so it's known. I'm a little under the weather this week. That's yours. Go ahead. We've got 2 extras over here. I've been sick the past couple days, but I'm on the upturn. I'm just still congested, so bear with me.
Today has been one of them days. It's like yesterday was such a high because it was so warm outside. Then I just get outside today, it's 40 degrees and it just makes me want to.
It was cold.
Crawl in a cave and cry, but
it was cold in West Virginia. I traveled Thursday to West Virginia and did some work.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, ended up not starting work till about 3 o'clock because they were running production, but we got it done.
Yeah.
Drove home this morning. It's a good deal.
Yeah. It's been a busy week. See, I've done something every night this week. Well, school and doing something every night this week. Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
And Friday, or last night, it was just kind of my only kind of off night, but still a busy day at school and running and stuff. Monday through Thursday has been the district tournament at Estill County. 56 district tournament. The boys and the girls won their championship, the 56 district championship. Both, or first time ever that both teams have won in the same year in basketball.
Ever.
Huh. Which I thought was a fun fact. And first time the girls won since 2011.
Well, congrats.
So, I mean,
it's good stuff, guys.
I mean, that was pretty neat to witness. The boys are going to Knott County Central whenever they play. They might have done the drawing today, but we'll keep talking while I look that up. But they go to Knott County Central to play this week, and the girls are playing Letcher County at Hazard Monday night, the 8th, whatever that is. Is that Monday night? Is the 8th Monday night?
Yeah, it sounds like it. It's a week from today.
Did the boys draw? The boys did draw, and Estill is playing Wolfe County on the 6th. That is huge for me and my scheduling. Holy crap.
Nice.
That's huge. They play Wolfe County. Wolfe County's a tough team. They got I don't know if I can't remember if we beat them or not this year. Wolfe County. No, Wolfe County's a good team, though, but we play Wolfe in the first round, so that's a big draw for Estill, for the boys. Girls play Letcher Monday night, boys play on Thursday night. So that'd be fun. Okay, me and my buddy Cole, we're going to go do that.
Good deal. We owe a happy birthday to Kelsey Lusker. So happy birthday, Kelsey.
Happy birthday, Kelsey.
Our last podcast was on her birthday, and I didn't wish her happy birthday on the podcast, and I was scrutinized for that today. So happy birthday, Kelsey.
Dang. Well, happy birthday, Kelsey.
Yeah.
How old?
She's 21.
21.
It's a big one.
Hey.
Yeah, party
time.
Or don't. You do you.
Maybe don't.
So.
Maybe no. So.
Party responsibly.
There we go. That's the word. That's what we need to be looking for. But
you want to get into it?
We'll get into it a little bit. What's our first topic you want to talk about?
We can start with habits, or we can talk about your run.
Let's kind of backtrack a little bit. Talk about this run, because I know last week in the podcast I mentioned probably 4 or 5 times the 16-mile run that I was going to do.
Yeah.
And I was kind of dreading it the whole time. But like I told my buddy Isaac Monday at school, we were kind of talking about it. I said, believe it or not, I had a 16-mile run on Saturday and a 9-mile run on Sunday, and it was one of the easier runs I ever had in my life. Which I don't know what it was, but it was Saturday night. I had 16 miles. It took me 2 hours and 4 minutes, if I believe. Let me look back at my records here. 2 hours and 4 minutes. 16 miles. Yeah. 2 hours and 4 minutes. Well, maybe a little longer. But my watch died on it. I kind of forgot about that deal. But my watch died, and it didn't keep track of the last 0.4 miles. I had 0.4 miles to go. But it was just kind of one of them things. I was just zoned out almost. I was listening to a podcast. It was Joe Rogan. There's that one guy you told me was Wesley.
Wesley Huff.
Huff?
Yeah, Wesley Huff. Shout out Wes.
I was listening to them.
Very knowledgeable.
And they were just kind of talking back and forth, and it was just kind of soothing and just kind of set my mind off to a different spot, and I was able to knock them 16 miles out relatively easy, and at a pretty decent. I was running an 8-minute pace, which is not super fast for me, but
well, that's fast for running for 2 hours.
Yeah.
16 miles.
Yeah, but I was holding that 8-minute pace, and I did it pretty well. It's I never got tired. I think around the halfway or just before the halfway part, I might have got a side cramp going on.
Yeah.
But that comes and goes every now and then. But yeah, I mean it was pretty good. That run was. Then the next night was Sunday night, the 9-mile run. When did I do that? I think I ran that after church Sunday night. That seems right. And again, I don't know what it is about night runs for me, but I can just get out nighttime. The weather was good. It was probably 55, maybe 60 degrees.
Yeah.
And I can just get out and go and not really have to think about or worry about anything, and just kind of get out and get it done.
I think we saw you Sunday night running on River Drive.
Yeah, that was probably me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I tried to roll the window down and yell at you, but
a lot of times I got my
didn't
headphones in, noise canceling, and I
Yeah.
can't hear nothing. But I think Sunday night I was just listening to music. I can't remember listening to a podcast Sunday night. Yeah, I get in those different kind of grooves of, well, what am I gonna listen to a pod here, or am I gonna listen to music? Like today I was listening to the Kentucky game, them getting beat and turning the ball over and missing shots, and that run, it was only 6 miles today, but it felt like a lot longer.
Yeah.
But anywho, but that 16-mile run, there was just something special about it. It's sometimes for me, I've said this before, but it's just kind of my time alone with God, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I take really good advantage of that, and sometimes I don't. Like today, I don't feel like I took good. I didn't appreciate today's run as much as I should have, because it was hard. I wasn't, because I was tired from yesterday, because I had a long, hard, good run yesterday, and today I felt like I didn't appreciate it as much.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to get it done, and it was hard, and it was cold, and I don't know. I was just kind of it just kind of put me in a bad mood, that run did today,
Yeah.
which is kind of the opposite of what you want from it. I guess I just didn't take advantage of it. But last Saturday night and last Sunday night, I felt like I did take advantage of it, and I got the most out of it that I could have, and that's a good thing. And so I guess I need to look back and try to do that more often.
Ups and downs, got to get through them.
Mm.
Yeah,
I like that hat. Sorry.
Thank you.
Where'd you get that?
I got it at Dick's. I think it was like $30. It's an expensive hat, but it's comfortable.
Yeah, it looks nice. Columbia.
Yeah. America.
Yeah.
USA, number 1. Yeah,
What were you saying?
I don't even remember, but I've been a bum the past couple days. I felt awful. I was hardly even at work whenever I was in West Virginia. I was physically there, but
Mentally weren't there.
yeah, it was not mentally my sharpest. I feel bad for that guy. Every time I work for him, I get sick. Like, I think I've worked for him once.
Yeah.
And wasn't sick the entire time I was working for him.
Yeah.
But, oh well. What's your idea on body dysmorphia here? What you got
Okay. I kind of had this thought. This is kind of an interesting topic that I feel like not a lot of people hit on. But I had this thought Monday. I had this thought Sunday night after we uploaded last week's podcast.
Yeah.
And, because I feel like I've struggled with body dysmorphia for the longest time. And because, I was overweight for the longest time, and I always wanted to be like, oh, this big jacked guy. And first of all, I was never putting in the work to become that. I thought it was just going to happen. But, I think that's something that a lot of times I struggle with, because a lot of the times I look at myself maybe in the mirror and I see how I look. I'm like, well, here's areas I can improve in. It's like, oh, this is not this doesn't look as good. But again, this morning, I was, I'll talk about it here in a little bit, but I was at the baseball field, I was umpiring. Josh England walks up to me, which was one of my old coaches. He walks up to me and said, Gabe, you're an inspiration. You look great. I'm like, thanks. I was like, I don't, personally for me, I don't feel like I look great. But then I've had so many other people look at me as like, wow, Gabe, you've really done it. Or you're looking really good. Like, and it's just one of them things. I guess they don't see me all the time. Maybe that's why they say that. Or they're either just trying to be nice or they're just, I don't know. But it's just one of them things that I don't often, I think I kind of struggle with it. And just how I look. But there's always room for improvement. But and it's another thing, the body dysmorphia, that I've always struggled with, and I saw something and I wanted to do something about it. But if it's something that you can't do, you can't fix it. I guess what I'm trying to say here is don't get anxious over it and don't let yourself get weighed down on it. Yeah. You know, I was kind of having them thoughts lately, is like, well, I've kind of went up and, we're going to talk about habits here in a minute. I've kind of went up in weight here recently. And that's not my goal. I don't want to go up in weight. I want to stay where I'm at. And I think a lot of that is because I've been eating like garbage and not eating the best here recently, the past month. And so I told myself after last week's podcast, Monday morning, we're going to start eating good. We're going to start having these good habits. And Monday, I started eating good.
Never works, does it?
Huh?
Never works.
No, it worked.
Really?
It worked Monday. I got up, had a good breakfast, had a good lunch, good healthy foods, not overeating a lot. Had good calorie intake, and I've noticed I went back down to my weight that I was before. I went back down to 175 because I was at 180 which I mean, there's not a unhealthy weight or anything.
Yeah. But
I've been at 175 since since February 24, and I've been wanting to stay at 175. Now I went up to 180 here this past month. I'm like, well, what's happening? I mean, I know it's not from really muscle growth working out because I haven't been working out a lot, and a lot of it, and I've been running more than I ever have because of marathon training. So what is it? Well, it's got to be my eating habits. I've been eating like garbage. It's like, well, I'm burning all these calories. Let me put in an excess amount. Well, that's not how it works. You got to put in what you put out. You can't be putting too much more, or you're gonna start seeing the weight go up.
Yeah, you got to replenish what you use.
Mm-hmm. But to go back to the body image issue, I've kind of noticed myself feeling. Well, number one, having better energy because I fixed what I was eating a little bit this week. And two, when I was looking in the mirror, I felt better about myself looking in the mirror. I don't know. It's just one of those mental things. Body dysmorphia is all it is a mental thing. It's not, I mean, you may see yourself as this yoked guy and you're not really. Or you may see yourself as this big, fat, obese guy when you're not really. Or you may see yourself as a real skinny guy when you're not really.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all a mental thing, and I think if we're gonna, approach it, we have to approach it that way. We need to approach it as this. Well, you're the one that controls your mind, so don't let other aspects control what you think, because you're the one controlling it. You're the one that's allowed to think these things, and yeah, you just gotta have a strong head. Have a strong mindset.
I'm really bad about looking back at pictures. I'll see a picture of myself in high school football, and I'll be like, man, I didn't look nearly as bad as I thought I did at the time. And but in the moment, I feel like I always feel a lot bigger than I am.
Yeah.
And then I look back and I'm like, well, I'm not nearly as big as I feel like I am, but I'm still a little. I got some extra on me, but.
Well, I've noticed a lot when
I'm working on it.
Talking about the body image for myself anyways, I've noticed a lot when I'm running in town and I look down at the shadow, I'm like, wow, this guy looks great, just like her in the shadow. Yeah. If I catch a glimpse of myself running in like one of the shop windows like downtown, or a lot of the WIRV station when I run by it on Main Street. I always look in the mirror or look in the window because it reflects good. I always look over and just see what I don't know, just check myself out, I guess. And I always look like, dang, let's go. Then I get home, look in the mirror, I'm like, oh. So I don't know. It's just one of them. It's one of them things that, you know, you got to be confident in yourself no matter what you look like. You can't let the way your body looks affect how you feel negatively, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can let it affect yourself positively. You can look at yourselves like, oh, this is an area I need to grow in, or I need to, you know, fix. If I'm seeing negative stuff, let me fix it. But if you're seeing stuff that, you know, is actually healthy, and you're seeing that in a negative mindset, you might need to check yourself a little bit, because I mean, you're the one, like I said earlier, you're the one controlling your brain. You're the one controlling how you think. So, you know, make smart, educated choices when it comes to your body, and not hurt your body from what you see. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. It's probably the endorphins and stuff. Your adrenaline going whenever you're running.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why you feel a lot more confident whenever you look at yourself in the reflection while you're running. It's interesting.
Well, I guess also from afar you don't see like a real close up image. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you zoom up, you'll see the imperfections in anything, right? But you see from afar, it's like, oh, that looks pretty good. Or it's like, but as soon as you zoom in and look closely, then that's when you start seeing imperfections. There's imperfections in anything, and you can't let that stuff drag you down. You just got to keep moving forward. But anyway, that was just kind of my spill on the whole body dysmorphia topic. You know, I was kind of thinking about that when Sunday night or Monday, I can't quite remember when I wrote that down, but that's just kind of my thoughts on that. I kind of wanted to bring that to the table this week. I thought it was a good topic to kind of hit on.
Yeah, what do they call that? With ignorance. Where, like, you start doing something new, like you learn a new skill and you think you're really good at it, and then you learn even more about that skill, and then you're like, I had no clue what I was doing. I forget what that's called. I know we talked about it in Zach Barnett's class.
Huh. What is that called? I know what you're talking about, though.
I read something about it the other day, and I can't remember what that's called. But it's a similar concept anyway.
Yeah. But
you ready to move on to habits?
Yeah, we can talk about habits. I know this was your topic. I'll let you hit on it.
Well, I've watched a lot on Atomic Habits by James Clear, so I'll kind of paraphrase that, and I've watched some of his stuff on the internet.
Who is this James Clear guy?
James Clear, he's an author of the book Atomic Habits. I almost said Bad Habits because I read it. But he's a cool guy. I mean, I've been listening to his stuff, and it sounds really good. It's a different approach from what I normally take to stuff I want to accomplish. I'm a goals guy. I mean, I talked last episode about physically writing your goals down and looking at them. But he kind of takes a different approach, and he talks about how, like, goals are a momentary thing. Mm-hmm. Like, if your goal is to clean your room, you can clean your room, but then after you clean your room, you have a habit. You're going to dirty your room back, and it's like nothing happened. Mm-hmm. So he talks about setting habits instead of goals and making your habits compound. Yeah. Like, I think if you get 1% better every day, then you're 37 times better at the end of a year than when you started. Yeah. That's that compounding effect. And he kind of gave 3 key takeaways from his book, and he said one of them was to build habits to improve your life. To do that, optimize your environment. So make your environment as good as it can be to accomplish what you want to accomplish, and to scale your habits down, and to focus on the entry point of a habit. So that's our big 3 items in this topic. And the environment's really cool. He talks about Vietnam, or there was a video I saw, and they talked about Vietnam, the Vietnam War, and it was like 35% of the soldiers that went to Vietnam at least tried. I think it was meth. It was either meth or heroin.
Probably both.
I think maybe both, but I think it was meth. And then 20% of the soldiers that went got addicted to meth.
Yeah.
And then whenever they left Vietnam, they came back to the States because meth was really attainable in Vietnam. It was like easy to come by, and they needed something to cope.
Yeah.
And then they come back to the States, and I think it was only 7 or 10% of the group that tried heroin continued using.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty crazy. Or meth. Sorry, I'm going back and forth. But that's just like so strange to me that only 10%, a tenth of the people that even tried it, continued to use it whenever they came back to the States.
That's one of the things it'll hook you instantly, won't it?
Yeah, they talk about chasing the dragon. It's like the first time you do it, it's it's really crazy, and you're always trying to get that, and you do more and more, and you never get there.
And you build a tolerance to it, and then you get. Anyhow,
it's a sad spiral.
Yeah,
we're pretty well familiar with it.
Yeah,
in the area. But do you have anything on environment?
Well, yeah, that's with anything, which that's completely understandable because I know in my experiences, I've never done meth or anything like that to that extent. But if I'm going to hang around a group of people, I'm going to most likely act on how those people are acting, right? If I'm in, what is it? It's like the crowd mentality. What is that? Say you're starting a riot and somebody throws a brick into a window. You know, I was like, well, if this guy did it, let me do it too. Let me pick up a brick too, type deal.
Shout out to Zach Barnett again.
Yeah.
Bagpipes.
But I mean, that's very interesting, the group mentality with the habits and just surrounding yourself with good things, because if you have this bad habit that you want to quit, and it's so easily attainable for you, you're just going to keep doing it, you know?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. It's like, I don't know.
I tried to quit pop in the summer. Or I didn't try to quit pop, I was like, I want to reduce how much I'm drinking.
Yeah.
It's because it's expensive more, too. It's really not that good for you. And I was like, I'll drink one a day. And so that lasted for like
a day.
And then I drank like 2 or 3 the next day.
Yeah.
And that's not an optimal environment for my goal of not drinking as much pop.
Yeah.
You can't just rely on willpower.
Yeah.
Like it's much easier to make it difficult to get that one pop than it is to choose between drinking water and pop.
Yeah.
If you just gotta choose.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna choose what you want.
Yeah. If you got a fridge
most of the time.
If you got a fridge full of L8, and it's like, well, I've only had my one L8 for the day, but I'm really thirsty, and I go downstairs and open up the fridge, and you're getting an L8. Yeah, you're not going to sit there and drink water. You're going to get an L8. So the best thing to do is just not buy them.
Yeah. Shout out to Winchester. Thanks for L8.
I haven't had L8 in 2 years, and I miss it every day.
I'll admit I had one whenever I left for West Virginia.
Was
just feeling rough. I was like, I need something.
Dude, I'm thinking about, I don't know if I will or not. I've always said this. I said this about hitting day 400 and only run 1 mile a day instead of 2 miles a day. I'm like, once I run this marathon, I might drink me an L8.
There you go.
Because I haven't had a pop since summer 2023. And, or was it 22? Might have been 22 or 23. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I've had a pop.
Either way, it's been a minute.
And so I'm like, man, I might do that. But then again, probably won't. Because, I mean, that's a 2 year long streak, 3 year long streak that I just end because I'm like, I want to get a pop and have this one moment of satisfaction and just quit drinking it again. I mean, there's no point in that. So, I don't know. What were we talking about? Habits, having good and
habits.
bad habits.
Talking about our environment. So, I mean, depending on what your goal is, change your environment to fit your goal.
Mm-hmm.
And James Clear, he says that if you want to change your habits, like just in general,
Mm-hmm.
to have better habits, then you have to change your identity. That's how you change your behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
So, like if you want to become a runner, then associate yourself with that identity, and have your running shoes like out and your running gear out, and that just makes it easier to initiate a run.
Yeah.
Like whenever you get home from work, if your stuff's all laid out, then you've optimized your environment
Mm-hmm.
to go for a run whenever you get home. It makes it so much easier. You don't have to think about it as much. That kind of goes back to the 1 second decision we talked about last time.
Mm-hmm.
Is like you don't have to think. It's just easier.
Yeah.
And that's what he means by the entry point of a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Is the initiation of whatever habit you're trying to start or stick with. Just having it accessible
Mm-hmm.
and just right there in front of your face, like at a grocery store.
Yeah.
They put what they want you to buy, like the name brands,
Mm-hmm.
at eye level because you'll see it.
Yeah.
And then they put great value at like the bottom of the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
That way, well, if you're at Walmart, great value.
Yeah.
The whatever.
Store brand.
Yeah, the store brands, they'll have them lower so you don't
They do,
pick
don't
them.
they? I've never realized that.
Yeah.
You just said that.
Yeah, they do. That's for like everything. You walk around
It's
the
all
store,
marketing scheme.
it's all marketing. There's a whole lot of money that goes into that.
Yeah.
A lot of statistics. This is a little bit of a tangent, but there was, gosh, I can't remember what it was. It was beer and diapers.
Yeah.
Beer and diapers. Where it was found by men over the age of 25 would frequently go into Walmart on Fridays and they would buy beer and diapers.
Uh-huh.
And like we did a thought experiment on this in college, and they were like, why would they have the beer next to the diapers in Walmart? And like nobody figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually the professor was like, so it's men above the age of 25. They can't go out and party anymore because they've got a family and a kid.
Yeah.
So they get their beer for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're out. They don't want to come back out over the weekend, so they go ahead and pick up diapers while they're there.
Yeah.
It's so insane to me that there's that much thought.
Yeah, when you think about it, you go into Walmart, the Richmond Walmart, is like the baby section is right next
Right there.
to like where the drinks are and the cold, like the milk and the beer and all that stuff. It's right next to it.
Yep, it's right there.
That's interesting to think about.
It is. And then they put, like, the groceries are further away from all the snack stuff.
Yeah.
And all the snack stuff is with the drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's weird how much energy goes into influencing what you buy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like not enough people reflect how much they think about what they want to buy and actually need to buy.
Because how often do you go into a grocery store and just pick up junk when you don't need it? It's like, oh, that looks good, let me snag that.
Yeah. Don't go into Costco hungry, bro. Just don't do it.
You know, get a double chunk chocolate cookie and a chicken bake on the way out and regret your life decisions.
We stocked the freezer. I can't remember what day it was. I think it was Wednesday. I spent like $150 on just beef. Freezer stocked.
You'll be set for a while, though.
I probably got 12 pounds of steak in there. I'm being dead serious. And then like 5 pounds of ground beef.
Yeah, steak sounds good right now.
Yeah.
Have to throw some steaks on the grill. Anywho, but like what we were...
Grilling.
Huh? Dad's grilling tonight.
Grilling.
Well, we were talking about habits earlier. I kind of... How you said if you're running, you put your shoes out where you can see them pretty easy. Well, this morning I woke up and I'm like, well, I've got to go umpire. So I went and umpired Estill County's inter squad scrimmage this morning. It started at 10. I'm like, well, I'll already be in town, so let me just go run after that scrimmage. So I got my shoes and I like put them in the van, or put them in the van. I don't even have a van. Put it in the car.
Yeah.
And so I had them in the car ready to go. And I guess that has one of the things with boosting your environment.
Yeah.
Is because I made that environment easy for me to go run. Like, I made it easy for me. I didn't have to run back home, change clothes. Like, under my umpiring pants, I had a pair of shorts on because it was cold as crap this morning. And I had a sweatshirt that I was willing to, get out and sweat in, and not a nice one. I had a crappy one on that I didn't care to get dirty. Like, I had that on. I had my stuff with me, ready to go run. So I was just boosting my environment around me, which I really didn't think of that as a habit. But a year ago, would I have done that? Probably not.
Yeah.
I probably would have turned around and come home. Well, if I come home, what am I going to do? I'm going to lay in the bed for a little bit.
Yeah, probably nothing.
Probably do nothing. Then I'm like, crap, now I got to get out and run. Then my time's gone. Then it's just a big mess. It's just I didn't optimize what I was able to do in that amount of time. So I guess that's a habit I've built over time, is doing that. But yeah, building good habits. It's important to have good habits, because you always hear it's like, well, I'll break this habit eventually. It's like, oh, don't start this because you'll just get addicted to it, or you'll just start building a habit. So it's a good thing to, try to cut them bad habits out. And a lot of it is environmental, as what you were saying. You look around this area, you see a lot of obesity. You see just a lot of people not living healthy ways, and I don't want to use this like as an excuse, but like, that's just how you were raised, because that's just the environment you're around. If you're around that environment since you were little, that's just how you're going to be, because you don't know no other way. So, I mean, from even that standpoint to even these, am I going to, I don't know, whatever habit it is, that environment's so key in that. So I'm glad you brought that up. Just fixing your environment and making the things around you positive and good. That's kind of how we mentioned last week, having the good people around you, because that'll bring out the best in you. So I mean, it all goes back to that. So having good things around you.
That's like a lot of those bad habits we pick up as kids from the people we're around, and our parents and our guardians. A lot of those bad habits we don't even like.
Yeah.
Like people I know that just go out and eat all the time. Luckily, my mom can cook anything. Shout out BK. She taught me a lot about cooking, and that's really helped me.
Yeah.
But we didn't eat out a whole lot whenever I was a kid.
Yeah.
I've got friends that only ate out. Their moms never cooked. Their dad never cooked. And they don't even like eating out. But they feel like that's their only option.
Yeah.
It costs so much to go out and eat. They can hardly afford it, and it's not as healthy. And that's kind of like how it goes with bad habits. It's bad habits, they usually reward you in the short term, but in the long term, they just hurt you. And good habits are the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Like, a good habit is running every day, or walking every day, or getting X amount of steps.
Doing something positive every day.
Or just going to the gym. And like, if you go to the gym one time and you get a good workout in, you're going to be hurting.
Yeah.
But you go to the gym for a year and you're going to feel fantastic. You're going to build habits, and it's going to help you out in the long term as opposed to a bad habit. So it's most of the work is associating the habits you want as positive or negative. It's easy to associate bad habits with positivity because you get that quick reward.
Yeah.
And it's a lot harder to start good habits. So he also talks about scaling our habits down. I kind of just blended into that one on accident. But all he means by scale your habits down is like, if it's too difficult for you to keep up for a week, then you should probably make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Like, instead, like, if I was like, I'm going to run a 10K every day for a month, I would not last. I would probably not even make it through today.
Yeah.
So it would be more realistic for me to want to run a mile a day.
Yeah.
You got to scale it down so that you can actually accomplish it and then build off of that. And that's really important too. And then you start to see the long-term benefits. And it's much easier to associate the habits you're building with positivity.
Yeah.
And that just attracts you to more. You get that compounding effect going.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get that ball rolling, you just got to hang on to it.
Yeah.
And roll with it. I'm sure you can relate to that at least a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, because I know when I first started running, today was 572 days in a row of doing at least 2 miles a day. Or 73 days, 573 days of doing 2 miles a day. And, for the past 6 weeks, I've been marathon training, so it's been 6+ miles every day besides my 2 quote-unquote rest days that are still 2 miles.
Yeah.
But, even in December, I was running 6.4 miles every day. I mean, you can't just get up and do that without prior work, without prior conditioning. So you gotta start small. I've told everybody this that's asked me how, if they want to start getting into running or getting into losing weight or getting into doing anything, like start slow. Yeah. Start slow, like you were saying. What was the terminology you used for that?
Scaling your habits down.
Scaling them down. Start slow, scale them down, because you can't just jump in the deep end right away if you don't know how to swim. You can't just go out and run. Say I want to run 2 miles, and I haven't even went on a jog in the last month. I mean, that's just not realistic to do. You gotta say, all right, let me go jog for 30 seconds. Let me walk a little bit. Jog for 30 seconds, walk a little bit. I mean, because you got to be realistic in these things. Everything, you're not just going to be able to do bang, bang, bang. Let me cut this habit out cold turkey. And some people can do that. It's a big mental game.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, for the most amount of people, you got to start slow. You can't just jump right in head first. Jump in the deep end right away in whatever you're doing. You got to start slow, and you got to learn what you're doing first. You got to be able to manage what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Walk slow, but never walk backwards.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's another thing that people asked when I was running. It's like, well, did you ever stop? It's like, well, I walked. I never stopped though.
Yeah.
Like I was constantly moving forward. I never stopped or got stayed in the same place. I was always moving forward. So I like that.
That helps you anyway. Whenever you're running, if you stop running and you sit down for a second,
or even stopping and turning around. Oh, it's awful.
It burns.
Yeah. Oh, it's awful.
It's bad. You know more than I do. Let's see. I was going to bring up something about our mission statement. I printed it out and I've got it on the wall now. And yeah, I was going to say that's a change I made to our environment.
Got it on the wall? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I printed it out. It's on the wall now.
We
it's
need one over here, too.
Yeah, we'll get one over there so you can see it, too.
Next week.
But
I didn't even notice that.
So we changed our environment, and now our goal, which I guess this is a little bit hypocritical because we're talking about changing habits instead of goals. Mm-hmm. But our mission statement is our goal with what we're doing. And we've got that on the wall now physically, and that's just a change to our environment to make it easier to see that. That way we don't stray from it.
Oh, that's great. I didn't even realize you did that. How long has that been hanging up this whole time?
No, I did that the other morning.
Well, like the whole time today.
Oh yeah, it's been.
Well, that shows how much I've paid attention.
I've been on camera, bro.
That shows how much I've been paying attention. I'm so tired. I'm telling you, I don't.
It's all right.
It's been a long week. We had track practice. This was the first week of track too. They got me coaching track. So it's wake up, go to school, run for 45 minutes to an hour every day. Then you go home for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, do homework, go straight to track practice. Then after that, go straight to announcing basketball games. Then you go home and go to bed and do it again for the next. I mean, I know I'm sounding like I'm complaining. It's like, oh, you actually have to work now. I sound like I'm complaining a little bit, but I have no reason to complain. But it's just, I don't know, I'm just not used to it, and I need to get back in the groove because I've been in the groove of going to school for 3 hours a day, then coming home and just chilling because
hanging out.
I haven't had a responsibility like that since last fall. But now that I do, I just got to get back in the groove of things, and this week's gonna warm me out.
I'm bad about that.
Listen to me complain.
I'm bad about that. I'll be thinking like, if I spend an hour in the gym and I spend like 30 minutes on the treadmill after I've worked for 8 to 10 hours in a day, I'll be like, man, I don't have any other, like, I just gotta go cook dinner, eat, and go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like, mentally, I'll just be thinking about that. Like, I don't have any time to sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, why do I even want to do that? There's no reason I should want to do that. I'd rather be busy than accomplishing nothing.
Yeah. It's like I was kind of thinking about that. Like, even last night when I got the text from Brad when he was asking me to umpire, I'm like, do I really want to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning? Oh, that's so early. Do I want to get up at, I think I got up at 8:30 this morning. Oh, that's so early. But do I really want to get up at 8:30 on a Saturday, get up and go umpire a baseball game? Then I was thinking, I'm like, well, let's think of it this way. I'm going to make some money from it, and plus it'll help my relationships with those people.
Yeah.
I mean, going and doing that. So I'm like, well, screw it, I'll go do it. And I went and did it, and I had fun. It was almost like, it was a good time. I almost got drilled one time. That was scary. I was umpiring behind the pitcher's mound, and this kid hits a shot. I mean, an absolute rocket up the middle. I'm standing like this. I'm standing towards the plate. The ball comes. It's coming right at my belly. I turn, and when I turn, like, my jacket comes out like this, and it clips my jacket.
Ooh.
And it goes right to Berkeley at second base. And I'm like, whew, like, it about killed me. Like, that would have hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, time slowed down. I'm like, turn like in the Matrix in Berkeley, and Bryce at shortstop, he came out to me, he's like, you just got an assist because they would have scored a run if that didn't hit you. Because they were able to field it and get it out at second base.
Yeah.
It was like they would have scored if that ball didn't hit you.
It's funny.
But anywho, like, I went and I enjoyed it, and I made money, and it's just one of them things that you kind of had to do. Then again then I went and ran, and I was out in town, and I went and saw my grandpa in the hospital. Like, if I'd have stayed home, I probably wouldn't have went out and got to go watch a half of Kentucky basketball with my grandpa. Do we need to close that blind?
Oh, we'll be all right. I'll just give it a little lean.
But
Just try and tough it out.
But I went and got to watch the little bit of the Kentucky game with my grandpa while he's in the hospital. He's supposed to come home tomorrow, hopefully.
I hope so.
But you want Burger Barn? Yes, please.
You know I do.
Yes, I do want Burger Barn. All right, going into eating habits.
All right, let's talk about diet and get out of here so we can eat some Burger Barn.
Nah, but yeah, it's just one of the things, you get up and do it, even though it wears you out, it tires you down. I mean, you do it anyways.
Yeah.
Because I would have rather went out and did that baseball game than lay in the bed and watch TikTok for 2 hours, or watch YouTube, or get up and wander around the house for 2 hours. I wouldn't have been productive. This morning I was productive. I was able to get out and I was able to run and do what I needed to do. So, yeah.
I'm getting my OSHA 30 training right now. And I'll be more safe at work, I guess. But I do it on my own time. And I've just got to get the whole training done by August.
Mm-hmm.
Which should be pretty easy. But I mean, like, I'll get on my phone when I'm at the house after work. Or like I took my computer and my notebook to West Virginia with me because I knew I'd have some downtime at the hotel. And I was sitting there on my phone just scrolling TikTok, and I was like, why am I doing this? So I got up and I got on my computer and I knocked out like an hour of the OSHA training.
Yeah.
And like, you just feel better whenever you work on what you know you're supposed to be doing, which that goes back to the short term, long term. You would rather sit on TikTok for 30 minutes to an hour and do nothing, but it's more rewarding to get it done than not.
Yeah. I'm done texting now.
All right.
Got my order in.
Good.
You proud of me? I didn't order a milkshake.
Good job.
I got a cheeseburger and fries, which is just...
Hey. Had a cheeseburger and fries last night. It was good. Shout out to Fat Patties in Tays Valley, West Virginia.
Fat Patties?
Fat Patties, bro.
I need to hear a story about old Fat Patties.
Fat Patties? Well, Fat Patties, for whatever reason, it's a bar and grill in West Virginia, and I promise you, West Virginia boys can party.
Yeah.
Not a party guy, but I've witnessed it a couple times now. But for whatever reason, this bar, Friday night, closed at 10. And me and the three guys I was working with, I drove them because they were all above age.
Yeah.
And they were going to drink. I drove them to from the hotel, and we go in, and it said they closed at 10. We went in at 9:15.
Yeah.
It should have been enough time for us to eat burgers and fries. Like,
yeah.
You can get in and out on burgers and fries. But they had a group of 20 people come in, all dressed real nice. And then everybody's mood changed that worked there. Mood changed real quick. And I had Fat Patties. I don't know where I was going. I don't even know what I was.
Fat Patties.
But yeah, we.
Was it a good burger at least?
It was really good, dude. There was only a little bit of saliva on mine, so they spared me.
Only a couple of hairs.
It was cheap too. It was $12. I felt bad, so I tipped. I tipped $12. Tipped like 100% of my bill, but
yeah.
Oh well, yeah.
Well, I was about to say I do the same thing. Like feel bad, so I tip a little extra, but I never go that much. They all spent like $30 on food and drink. So yeah.
I tipped the lowest, but it was the highest percentage.
Yeah.
Because they all had whiskey and Long Island iced teas or whatever.
And you just sat back and watched.
Yeah.
That's what I do a lot. I just sit back and hang out and watch everyone else.
I swear I get like a contact buzz whenever I just hang out with people that are drinking. Because I was feeling loose. And like, never even drank anything. And Gary, the guy, shout out Gary. Mr. Crow. Gary was laughing. He was like, dude, did you steal my whiskey or something? I was like, no. I'm just having fun, man.
That goes back to environment.
How we were talking about earlier. It really does.
You're around.
Tied in.
We'll reel it in a little bit. But you go in and talking about, the habits and stuff. And it's like, even if you're around it, even you may not be doing it, but you're around it, you might start acting like you're going to do it, So, I don't know. One of them things. But, what other topics we got to hit on?
Talk about diet some more.
After I got my burger barn. Yeah.
After you got the burger barn.
After I got the burger barn.
Moderation.
Moderation's key, and let's just say I haven't been moderating. What is the right term for that?
I don't think it's moderating.
I don't think it is either.
I feel like
I
would just scrap the sentence and
keep
going.
I've been eating in an excess amount. Is that the right term?
Yeah, I got you.
But
that works.
I don't know. It's just, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but you sit down and, you broke the pen.
I did break the pen.
But you say it's like, I'm going to go I just burned 1,300 calories on my run.
Yeah.
So let me go and I'm going to have this thing that's a lot of calories, but a lot of it is just straight, like I like to call them empty calories.
Yeah.
Oh, let me eat this candy bar.
It's just carbs and fat.
Just fat.
Yeah.
Just straight fat. Which you need fat in your diet. I'm taking a nutrition class right now, and you're learning is like, not all fats are bad, because fats is what gives you energy. Fats is what keeps your bodies going.
Yeah.
But it's when you get an excess amount, and when you start storing them as glycogen. Is that it?
Sounds right. Yeah. That sounds right.
Get Mr. Knopp in here, he tells. When you start storing them as, all these bad fats, then you start burning off the good fats, and you're storing up the bad fats.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, because when you're burning energy, you burn off the good fats first, because that's the good energy in your body. You burn it off first, and that's how you lose weight. Is you hit that threshold of you burn off all the good fats, and you start burning off all the bad fats, and that's how you start losing weight. When you're doing like a lot of cardio or a lot of whatever, you want to get to that threshold of where you're burning the bad fats off. But anywho, that's a story for another time. But, we're kind of talking about diet. It's just, I don't feel like my diet's been the best here recently. I feel like I've been overeating a lot and eating junk most of the time. It's like, well, I've earned it. I can work hard. I've worked hard here. I've ran a lot. But, if you're putting crap into your body, you're going to get crap out. It's like, I told you earlier, it's like this morning, I had 2 biscuits with blackberry butter on it.
Yeah.
Like, that's crap.
Sounds good.
That's oh my goodness, it was good, but it's garbage. Like, then I go out and run 6 miles, and now I feel like garbage.
Yeah.
So you got to put good in to get good out, and that goes with food, and that goes with anything. That goes with the spirituality. I mean, it just goes with anything. You got to put good in to get good out. And I feel like food-wise, energy-wise, and that's probably why I've kind of been tired since, I was kind of talking about how I kind of fixed my diet a little bit, fixing what I was eating, which I felt like I was eating good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then, Thursday night, and then kind of on. I've just kind of been kind of back to normal, but I don't know, or back to, I wouldn't say normal, but back to how I've been this past month of just eating junk all the time. And that also goes back to with your surroundings. I mean, if you're surrounded by junk food, that's all you're going to eat.
It's just available. Mm-hmm. If you've got, if your kitchen's clean, I need to work on that. If your kitchen's clean, it's going to be a whole lot easier to cook yourself a healthy meal than it is to not.
Yeah.
It just is. So that's another habit that you have to keep up. Mm-hmm. And you have that habit, it makes it easier to cook more meals, and you stack that habit. You can combine those things into one, and it makes it, you pull them together, and it makes it a little easier to hit both of them. But to tie 2 ideas together, the diet, the most successful diet that I've ever done was carnivore. And I'm not an expert on nutrition. So if you've got a problem with carnivore diet, take your problem somewhere else. It's calories in versus calories out at the end of the day. Okay, but anyway. And I think it was so successful with me because, before I'd done carnivore, I just tracked my calories and tracked everything I ate. So whenever you're just tracking your calories, you can eat whatever. Yeah. If I wanted to, I could eat a pound of cheesecake in the morning whenever I wake up, and then not eat for the rest of the day. And let's just act like a pound of cheesecake is 2,000 calories. I had my 2,000. It's definitely more, but 2,000 calories for the day, and I just don't eat for the rest of the day. I would lose weight, but I would feel like garbage, and I would be starving throughout the day. Mm-hmm. But I just I had an identity with carnivore. My diet had an identity. Mm-hmm. So if somebody was like, "Hey, you want this?" like a little bag of Doritos. Like, no, I can't. I'm carnivore.
Yeah.
It just made it easier. It wasn't like I was trying to accomplish something. I was just going along with what I was.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to just go along with whatever you are than it is to pretend something, I guess.
Well, I like that point of just kind of going along with it, because like I've got this plan that I follow for running.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what it tells me I have to do today. Even if I don't feel like doing it, you know, I'm going to do it anyway. So, I mean, you can put that, like, yesterday I had to run 10 miles. Because that's what my paper told me to do. That's what my Excel spreadsheet told me to do. I had to run 10 miles. So, I thought about it. I was like, well, let me put that off till tomorrow and let's run the 6 today. And I'm like, no, let's not do that. Let's just do it here today.
Yeah.
And yesterday ended up being, honestly, my best run in probably this whole marathon prep. Like, my best run. I ran a 7:15 pace for 10 miles yesterday.
Dang.
I think is what it was. Yeah, 7:15 pace for 10 miles yesterday. I sprinted the last 3 miles almost. I felt like, well, I was running a 6:40 pace the last 3 miles. And, like, if I wouldn't have followed that, if I would have just, it was just kind of easier to go along with the paper. Easier, well, I'm on a carnivore diet, I'm not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I have to eat this. Or this is what my paper says, let me do it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, if you didn't have the plan
to
follow,
I wouldn't have went out, let me go run 10 miles
just
today.
Like free balling marathon prep.
Yeah.
You probably would have just ran 2 miles.
Mm-hmm.
But
which I did that for the longest time. I didn't have a plan or a goal, and I was just kind of going out there all free, nilly-willy. But we were kind of still talking about diets, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, we were kind of I was going about, it all goes back to a decision too, and it's all a mental thing, what you eat, because we were blessed this past week with doing the district tournament. I was doing the PA. We were blessed with a hospitality room, and boy, do I love free food. And so you go in there and you just see this spread of food. There's a fruit tray. There's some healthy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, here's some chicken. It's fried chicken, but it's still chicken. It's protein.
Chicken. Yeah.
They have pizza over here one day, and it's just like, there's these choices that you get to make. You go through this line, and then at the end of the table is cake, cupcake, cookie. I mean, it's just straight sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed away from it for the most part. And I don't know, that was just one of them decisions you get in there, and it's like, I'm stronger than this.
Yeah.
I'm more disciplined than this to grab this cupcake right here and eat it. Like, because what's the point? That's an empty calorie. I mean, that's just a waste of time, my time, waste of energy.
Yeah.
Eating that, I mean, it's just a waste. And I didn't do it. And so I thought that was, I was kind of proud of myself for that this week. But then you have El Ranchito on Thursday night, catered in, and it's like, screw it.
Hey,
let's indulge.
Chicken.
And rice, and queso cheese, and it turns out into getting seconds. You go back and you got to get seconds. It's El Ranchito. Then you get the shredded cheese on it.
Shout out to Julio and Luis.
I love El Ranchito.
We love you guys.
Should we ask for a sponsorship? First sponsor of this podcast.
Let's go, dude.
El Ranchito.
You have no clue how excited I would be if El Ranch sponsored.
Be Good to Your Brother, sponsored by El Ranchito.
We need to take one of it. We need to make business cards and leave them in there. You know how they got them on the little desk?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea,
That's
honestly.
not bad.
Get business cards?
Yeah, have a bunch of...
Ooh.
Yeah.
But, man, that was so good.
Going back to that, how many times have you done this? You don't really have a plan for what you're going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, well, I can technically make this work. I can technically have one of these cookies.
Mm.
And then I can still make my macros fit for the rest of the day. I've still got enough calories left over for dinner or whatever.
Mm.
And they're like, well, I've had one cookie. I've already screwed it up.
Let me get another one.
Let me get another one. I don't know why. That's
Guilty.
so easy to do.
Guilty.
I am so guilty of that.
Boy, did I do that a lot last week. Not this past week, but the week before.
And you talked about free food, son. I abused Holiday Inn Express for their breakfast 2 days in a row, dude. I'm ashamed. I don't even know what it was. RJ, Ronnie, shout out, said it was an apple cheese Danish. I if he's right, I don't know. But there was apple and cinnamon and bread. It was good.
Mm.
Real good.
That sounds good. I'm hungry now. It is that time of day. What is it? It's 5:30.
How long have we been going?
Dinner time. We've been going for a while. I'm down to keep going.
Yeah, I'm rocking with it.
We've been going for a little bit.
I haven't been paying attention.
I hadn't either. We've been going for 61 minutes.
Nice.
So we'll keep it rolling.
Yeah.
What other topics you got down? Let me see what I got here.
We can talk about a little bit about maintaining habits. I've got
Let's do that.
the Goldilocks rule.
I need that. Maintaining habits.
We'll thought experiment this. I'll ask you, when are you most motivated to keep running?
When?
Yeah.
Like, is this a certain type of day, or is this like a certain time of day?
More specific to the run.
To the run.
Like, what kind of run are you doing?
All right, ask the question again.
What kind of run makes you most motivated to run?
Oh, I don't know.
Watch this fail.
The short one?
The short one. Okay.
The short run?
So, a short run, you're more motivated on a short run. Why are you more motivated on a short run?
Because it's easier.
Because it's easier.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of...
Is it failing?
This is kind of failing.
Well, hold on. Restart it. Restart it.
No,
when am I most...
I'll step into it a little bit.
When am I most motivated on the run? That's kind of a... So when
That's
am I
really
the most
broad
motivated to run?
Yeah. To keep running. To keep
To
maximize your effort.
While I'm running?
Yeah.
Okay. What motivates me while I'm running? The thought of letting myself down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what motivates me while I'm running
Yeah.
is I have to get this done or I failed. That's
Okay.
what motivates me.
So if you went on a run with me right now and we ran at a 10-minute pace.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty slow for you.
Uh-huh.
I would be struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
But that would be pretty slow for you. If you went on a run and you were going to run at 95% of your PR run. Do you have a PR run? Like a mile time right now?
I don't, because I never run just a mile.
That used to be your thing though. It used to be like
just I would
you
always
would text us and you'd be like, "Boys, I'm under a 8-minute mile." Today.
Yeah, I'm always
just
trying
like,
to. I was always trying to time. I'm not doing that now.
Well, so
I'm going for completion now.
Yeah, but if you were gonna run with me at a 10-minute pace, or if you were gonna run at like 95% of your highest average pace, where would you be more motivated?
I'd be motivated to run with you, because
it's completely failed. I completely failed.
Well, for me,
I might be the problem.
Well, for me, I would rather run with you than I would run or I'd be more motivated because I'm running with you and I'd see you working and I'd feel like I'd have to motivate you.
Well, what if you weren't running with me? What if you were running a 10-minute pace by yourself?
Okay.
Or at a 7-minute pace by yourself?
Okay.
Which run are you going to be like feeling it more?
The 7-minute pace.
Like being more motivated. Like
I'd rather run the 7-minute pace.
Yeah. Because that's challenging.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Because I'd be getting something out of it.
Yeah. So that's kind of the Goldilocks rule. That's kind of that's the information I had is the Goldilocks rule. That's from Atomic Habits.
Explain the Goldilocks.
So I've got more notes on it.
Goldilocks.
So it's how to stay motivated.
How to stay motivated. Okay.
And so in general, people experience the most motivation when they're working on tasks that are close to the edge of their current abilities. So when they're pushing themselves.
Okay.
And you've heard it called flow state.
Maybe.
You might have called it. You might have heard it called flow state. Like when you're just in a rhythm.
Yeah.
And you're in that rhythm and you don't want to get out of it. You just want to keep knocking it out. So that whenever you get into that rhythm or that flow state, if you want to call it that, you're really close to the edge of your abilities. And so you're kind of carrot and stick. Like you're really close, you just want to keep pushing because you're right there. If you weren't challenged at all, like if you were in a class, you'll probably relate to this because we had the same education system. If you were in a class in high school, hypothetically, like algebra for the third or fourth time, you probably wouldn't pay attention because this was algebra for the third or fourth time.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be explained how to solve for X for the third or fourth
year
time.
in a row.
So you're not gonna be pushed to try.
Yeah.
And you're gonna lose motivation for mathematics. Like I actually really liked math.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the subject in school and I really enjoyed it in college. But my problem was we got to do that trig class. And I loved that because that was difficult.
Yeah.
It was a challenge. Like I wouldn't say I was out of my limit, but I was approaching the limit. It's like in the gym, you want to lift with intensity. A lot of the time. I mean, there's cases where you want to do lower intensity and like more repetitions. But for the most part, if you're just training just in general, you want to have some intensity in your workout.
Do we need to close the blind?
We might need to.
I'll close the blind a little bit. We're going to have to turn a light on in here eventually.
I wanted to keep some natural light in.
There, that's good right there.
Well,
that does nothing.
Nothing. All right. Well, there was an effort made.
Is that better?
No.
It shines right through it, though.
There we go. That's good.
Okay.
That's good. Appreciate it, Gabe. But like, whenever you're not approaching your max point, where you're what's the word I'm looking for? Where you're kind of motivated to keep working, then you're gonna fall into fatigue. And if you push past that, like if you're just trying to work above your limits, and it's gonna burn you out.
Yeah.
So you've got to be careful to find that balance, I guess, between not sandbagging yourself. Because if you sandbag yourself over and over again, you give yourself minimal effort, you're going to get minimal results, and you're going to have no motivation to keep going for minimal results. And that's why accountability partners are important too. Just throw back to that one. Because accountability partner, they won't let you sandbag, or they shouldn't let you sandbag yourself too much for too long. But you also don't want to push past that. And I mean, if we're talking weightlifting, then you push past what you can do, you're going to get hurt doing that.
Now, after you explain that, I understand the question a little more.
Yeah, sorry.
You were using big words, and my brain is not functioning the way it needs to be today.
Right.
But yesterday, you were kind of talking about a flow state. Yesterday, I was running 10 miles, and around mile 5.5, I just felt this, almost just this energy burst. I'm like, I'm going to go. And then I upped the speed, and I kept that speed the rest of the run. I mean, it was a hard pace. So finding that motivation there is like, well, I'm running at this speed right now. I can't slow down because if what's the point of slowing down if I can keep going? So I felt like I was challenging myself, and like you were saying, I was more motivated to keep that pace up yesterday. Because let's just look at my splits from yesterday.
And that sounds kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Like as a beginner, if I was just starting in the gym, I'd be like, yeah, I'd probably feel better doing lower weight. But
listen to these splits. My first mile was a 7:40, second mile 7:30, third mile 7:30, fourth mile 7:40, fifth mile 7:14.
Yeah,
like that's a 25-second
pretty
jump.
Good jump.
6 mile 7:08, 7 mile 7:18. Eighth mile 6:51.
6:51.
9 mile 6:58. 10th mile 6:47.
You were cooking.
So it's just you're kind of mentioning it, and I didn't really understand the question.
Statistics.
And I didn't understand the question until you kind of explained it, but that relates to exactly to what I was experiencing yesterday.
Data and statistics.
What in the world?
Boom.
What in the world?
That's perfect.
That is crazy. Because like yesterday, I was motivated because I started running harder, and then I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Because if I stopped, then I kind of feel like I fail. When I had so much left in the tank. Because yesterday, my 10 mile, it was supposed to be this workout of like you do slow, too easy, then you run 3 sets at whatever pace. I'm not gonna screw that. I'm just gonna go run 10 miles. But yeah. I ended up probably getting in the same workout because I'm like, well, this is effort based. Because if I'm not gonna give any effort on this day, today's not an easy run. Today I actually have to go out and get it or get after it. So what's the point of me doing it if I'm not going to give any effort? Then I kind of realized that around mile 5, kind of on this downhill stretch, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
And then I kind of picked it up and got after it a little bit. So that's wild how it just kind of clicked to me once you started explaining it a little bit.
And it's important that's maintenance. That's not starting. Your habits. That is maintaining your habits and keeping them habits instead of like a phase. Really.
Yeah.
Is like, because if you start off that way, then we'll go back to walk slow but never walk backwards.
Yeah.
Once you get the ball rolling, that's the whole idea with atomic habits. It's small changes that build up to something larger, and they compound. And that system is to keep you compounding. That's not to help you start. Let's see.
I like that though. What was that principle called? The Goldilocks?
The Goldilocks rule.
That's pretty neat. That is a neat.
We've kind of hit on all this here.
Have we?
Yeah. And another thing we didn't hit on that I wanted to talk about is identification. Identifying your bad behaviors is the first step to fixing it.
Yeah.
And that's with anything. Like, the first step to fixing a problem is addressing the problem.
Yeah.
And just like in the book, it talks like look in the mirror and say out loud what the problem is. Or just like whenever you notice it, say it out loud, and then you can look at it with your goals in mind and what you want in mind instead of reacting to a feeling. Because all you've done is react to feelings. Like, if you're overweight, you feel hungry, or I bored eat. I'm bad about bored eating.
Me too.
I get bored, and it's like, okay, eat something. And like, I'm just reacting to a cue, really, or a feeling. If instead I was like, I'm bored, then I would not feel as hungry, and I could direct myself into something better than just stuffing my face with whatever I can find. But that was kind of the last thing I wanted to hit on. That's kind of a small thing, but
yeah. We've hit on a lot.
That was a lot.
Because we've hit on a lot of important stuff today, I think. We got anything else we want to think of, or?
That's all I had. Anything else you got? No, that's.
You can go for it. We're at 75 minutes.
No, it's just kind of something cool that happened. It's not really that much informative.
Well, we can
driving to West Virginia though. I actually got to the interstate. I went through Moorhead, or I went to Mount Sterling.
Got on 64. Yeah.
And I got on to 64, and it rained on me a couple times, but just sprinkled. But I got out west, and I got toward Moorhead, and I was on the interstate, and I see this like pretty good sized storm ahead of me, and the sun had just started to set, and the sun sets a little farther, and I can see in my rear view the sunset, really pretty sunset. Especially in Moorhead with the mountains and everything. But I'm looking ahead at this storm, and so just above the mountains in the storm, it's like a purple blue color in the sky, and then it kind of goes more like blue gray, and there's a storm cloud, and it was a nasty storm. Like it pulled me all over the interstate. I almost pulled over at one point because it was getting so rough.
Yeah.
Not a fan of doing that. It's only happened once. I'll never do it again.
Pulling over on the interstate?
Pulling over because of the storm.
Yeah, you just got to ride
never
that
do
thing.
It again.
Ride that thing
never
through.
Do it again. I felt so weak whenever I pulled over. But anyways, if you see me on the interstate and it's storming, you should pull over because I won't, bro. But anyway, so there's this big storm cloud, and the sunset is reflecting. And above the storm clouds, you can see like the sunset color is like really pretty orange color, and it was just, it was the prettiest looking storm I've ever seen. And that kind of sounds like backwards. Like you don't really think of a storm as being pretty, but that's. I mean, there's a lot of I just thought about it, and like there's a lot of beauty and struggle. Like people that like David Goggins. I talk about him too much. I apologize. But David Goggins, like, nobody wants to do and see the things that he saw and experienced as a kid and growing up, like his young adult life. Like, had an awful life.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of good that came out of it for him because it changed him.
Yeah.
And that's just one way that you can appreciate that metaphorical storm that he went through. And so if you're having, like, if you're in a storm, I guess, try to find something to appreciate in it. Try to find the good in it. And it does get better. Storms pass.
Well, that kind of brings me in. I know we haven't talked about scripture any, but that made me think of some scripture. Let me pull it up.
I thought this would happen.
If this is cool. It's Luke. Shoot, is it Luke or is it John? It's Luke 20. It is not Luke 20. Is it Luke 6? Crap. Let's look it up. Jesus healing the blind. Heals blind. The Bible app's great, but when you're going to search stuff, it sucks. Jesus heals blind man. Can I get a Bible verse, please? Google. Luke 18. Golly. That is not... Talk for a little bit. I'm trying to find this.
Did you see... Well, I don't want to distract you too much. I saw a TikTok the other day, and it was pretty cool. This guy prayed over a older man that had like severe back problems, and the guy like struggled to walk. And this dude, First he like introduced Jesus to this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then he prays over him to heal his back, and the guy could walk like pretty well after,
Mm-hmm.
like a significant increase in performance. Pretty impressive.
It's interesting. Mark. I'm just gonna have to Google who sinned, this man or his parents. Give me a Bible verse, please. John 9. There it is. It is John. Golly, bro. I'm awful.
Wrong book.
Found it. Alright, what were we talking about? Darkness in the storm?
Finding good in the
Finding
storm.
good in the storm. Okay. Have we talked about Jesus healing the blind man?
No.
Okay. On this podcast. I can't remember if we did or not. We're just going to read this. It's then I'll kind of talk about it afterwards. John 9, 1 through... I don't know. Until 10, 11, 12. 1 through 12. Let me read it real quick. This is the NIV version. As he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi. Rabbi is just like the Jewish term for teacher, for people that didn't know that. He says, and that's what, Jesus was a Jew and all of his followers, his buddies were Jews and stuff, so that's just what they called him. Teacher, Rabbi. He said, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Because when you think about it, bad things come from sin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. You do, like, bad comes from sin. And so his disciples asked him, says, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that this guy was born blind? Jesus said, neither this man nor his parents sinned, said Jesus, but this happened so that the works of God may be displayed in him. This bad thing happened to him, that the works of God be displayed in him. As long as it is day, we must do the work of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. While I'm in the world, I'm the light of the world. That's Jesus saying that. After saying this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with some saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. We've all heard that story, him spitting in the mud and rubbing it on his eyes. He said, go. He told him, wash in the pool of Siloam. So the man went and washed and came home seeing. His neighbors and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg? Some claimed that he was. Others said, no, he only looks like him. But he himself insisted, I am the man. How then were your eyes open, they asked. He replied, the man they called Jesus made some mud and put it on my eyes. He told me to go to Siloam and wash, so I went and washed, and then I could see. Where is this man? They asked him. I don't know, he said. And so that's the end of that story. But Jesus says, neither this man or his parents has sinned, but this happened so that the work of God may be displayed in him. And so what did Jesus do? Jesus healed him, and that guy went and ended up telling others about Jesus, right? So this bad situation, this guy was blind his whole life. He was born blind, never could see. And disciples were like, because they were told, was like, well, if there's something bad that happens to you, or if you were born with a deformity, or if you were born with this mental problem, I mean, in that time, they thought, well, it had to come from sin. Their parents had to sin. Or this guy, his hand doesn't work right, or he can't walk or whatever, he's paralyzed. Oh, it's just because he's sinned. I mean, that's just because that's the consequence of his bad action that he's doing. Jesus is saying, no. He's saying, this bad thing is happening so God's work can be shown through it. So God's love can be shown through it. So God's goodness can be shown through it. And Jesus ends up healing the guy, and that guy goes and tells about Jesus. So kind of how you were talking about earlier with the storm, like, there's a lot of bad. The storm is bad, right? You look at a storm, you see chaos, you see pouring rain, thunder, lightning. But how you said that storm was beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of good things can come from a storm, right? You see that flood that hit Irvin. I mean, that storm that hit Irvin is bad. But I feel like there was a lot of good that came out of it. Saw the community come together, right?
Mm-hmm.
It saw people, neighbors coming out helping each other. It saw people, just building each other up.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't have happened unless something bad happened. So not every bad action, not every quote-unquote consequence has come from the bad action of somebody or from you or somebody else. Bad things happen, this is when you hear the term, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, because it's a part of God's plan, right? It's because God shows His work through bad things sometimes, and that's a prime example of that. And so I'm kind of glad you brought that up about how that storm was beautiful, because a lot of times you see all these bad things happen. It's like, oh, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? But we never look at it. All right, what good can we get out of it? This bad thing's happening. Let's try our best to bring some good out of it. So, there's our scripture.
If you don't make the best out of it, you'll make the worst.
That's right. There's our scripture for today. John 9, 1 through 12.
Write that down.
John 9, 1 through 12. I found it after Googling forever. I thought I could have swore it was in Luke 20. I don't know why I thought it was in Luke 20.
It's funny.
But Luke 20 was Jesus on the Sabbath day.
It's really interesting to me. Have you watched The Chosen?
Mm-mm. I need to.
I see TikTok clips of it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you see it in that, but also in the Bible. It's so interesting to me how often Jesus does stuff, and all the disciples are like, Jesus, why are you doing this? Like,
what do you mean, bro?
Let the guy do his thing.
Let him cook.
Well, let the guy cook. You don't got to doubt it all the time. It's so funny. Like, how many miracles did the disciples see happen? And like Dad said, whenever he texted us about the last episode, TK, big shout out.
Shout out TK.
He said, like, Peter had just seen Jesus feed 5,000.
Yeah.
With a couple loaves of bread and a couple fish.
Yeah.
And then Jesus tells him to go on the water, and he gets scared and almost can't walk on the water. Yeah. And Jesus has to save him. Like, come on, bro. You can't watch this stuff happen over and over and keep doubting it. But you do. That's the nature of it.
But we're human. We make mistakes.
Yeah.
And because they did it, we do it. I mean, we see Jesus. You can see God's work in so many people around us and in our own lives ourselves. Then how many times do we stray away?
Yeah.
Every day. So it's just one of the things you got to constantly work on. You got to constantly be good, or putting good in, and you'll be getting good out.
Yeah.
So, anywho. But we got any other topics we want to hit?
I don't think so.
Shout out to the Estill County basketball teams.
Congrats to Estill County basketball.
That was doing good. That was some of the Thursday night. I'll talk a little bit about this. Yeah. Thursday night was probably the craziest environment I've ever been in my life, working an event. Because I was doing the PA announcing, and it's Estill Powell. They hate each other.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to get too into it because I might get a little heated here, or to what happened before the game, or I might
slight bias.
I'm a little biased.
We own 89, baby.
82.
82, 89. We own both of them.
89 goes to Winchester, but they split there. But we got both of them, baby. But the Battle of 82, 56th District Championship game Thursday night. And just shout out them boys, because just all year they feel like people have counted them out, I think. People's kind of counted them out. And I think they played really well team basketball. They played hard. I mean, there was a lot of individual, statistics and individuals games that some of the guys had, but I think as a team they really came together, and I could tell they were working hard, so I'm proud of them boys. Girls too.
We get counted out a lot, don't we? Little West County.
Girls, shoot, this is the best season. I know the girls made it to the region championship game last year. So, I mean, this is the first time they won the district championship since 2011. I don't want to be downplaying the girls team either. The girls team they're legit this year.
Nice.
JC Long scored her 2000th point.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
That was insane. They beat Powell County Monday night, and Wednesday night they beat Owsley County. And I mean, they went 8-0 in the district this year. I mean, crazy work. So good job, girls too. Got to cut down a net. I got to cut down a net too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Thursday night. I'll show you the picture. Thursday night, I climbed the ladder and cut down the net, or cut down a piece of the net.
Yeah. Sweet.
I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyhow.
Pull that up.
Pull that up, Mr. Knott. Pull that up,
Airdrop
Mr.
it to
Producer,
Mr.
man.
Knott.
Then he
Pull
can
it up.
then he can pull it up. You know, I really gotta use the bathroom.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about a good amount of stuff.
Yeah, we can cut it.
Shoot, we went for an hour and 31 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Longest episode yet.
Longest episode yet.
We've talked about some good stuff.
Maybe it'll take 6 hours to upload this stuff.
We talked about Jesus a little bit. We talked about some good topics.
Habits. Build good habits.
Outro song.
Outro song. Do outro song now.
I mean, it'd be the same as the intro song.
Oh,
I can
okay.
play it anyways.
Oh, I thought you were introducing something new.
No, I just kind of wanted to strum on the
down with
guitar
it.
a little bit more.
Go for it.
There we go.
All right.
I love
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Jesus loves you.
We
Be good
love
to your
you.
brother. Peace.
Bye, everybody.